Like to be a speaker, tell a joke. We've done a few. Open mic night tonight. I figured we'd get started, but we would never end. Number one, I hope everybody was great. We had a record number this year, and glad that everyone was able to come. I think everyone came. You can't hear me? It's probably better. If everyone came that was supposed to, it's going to have about 215. That's the record. I think we were at more than 144. Like I said, one thing you can take the time out of a busy night. I know several didn't get to come because of the middle school expected tournament. First, there's several things, several people that we need to thank. Miss Reynolds and Miss Pruitt are either one still here today, leave and go home. They had a very, very busy day for the third year in a row. Miss Reynolds and Miss Pruitt did a great job decorating. I think they felt like they needed to go home and get changed. By the time they got back, it would be over. Little as they know, it'll still be going. But like I said, I want to thank them. They take care of me every year because if it was me, we'd have paper plates, bologna sandwiches, and chips, and get started. We have a long line of people tonight. I want to start with a great group that doesn't get nearly enough attention. And Ms. Buckley told me that last year they didn't get nearly enough attention. So I told her this year they would. First of all, it's our cheerleaders. My wife was a cheerleader. I say it every year. She can still be slipped. The cheerleaders are athletes. Cheerleaders are definitely athletes. The group of young ladies that we had this year were absolutely spectacular. I knew that we were in for a great group, and they came and they wanted to, they literally volunteered to paint the stadium, not knowing exactly how much paint and how much time that they would take. They came out the day that we cleaned up. We have an annual cleanup day, and they painted our steps for us and everything that we asked, and they worked like dogs, I mean, all day long. And that was something that really showed me that they were certainly behind it. Miss Buckley, could you please stand right now just for a second? Miss Candy Buckley, she's our cheerleading sponsor. A lot of things go on behind the scenes, and ladies, you don't get nearly enough credit for what you do. The pep rally, the signs, the things that you probably noticed or didn't think that we noticed, that when we were still practicing, a lot of times y'all were out there in the cold working on signs, and you don't get nearly enough credit. We want to thank a lot of y'all volunteered when I coached the All-Star game this year and came in and cheered the East West Shrine game for absolutely nothing. I know it took time out of your day, and like I said, the neatest thing about our cheerleaders was we had a special year this year, and I think there were times when we talked about a ring. Times we were scared to talk about a ring, but probably one of the best icebreakers. I guess the day that we left to go, the morning we left to go up to the Blue Cross Bowl up in Murfreesboro, the cheerleaders and Miss Buckley saw to it that everybody had a candy ring. And we weren't sure that that would be the only one that we got or not. But we all got a ring, and that was, I think, a great icebreaker. And ladies, would y'all please stand at this moment and please recognize our cheerleaders. Doing this was leaving out people. The list was here all night long. And I know that I'm going to leave out people. I go ahead and apologize that beforehand because there have been so many people because that's to get to the point that we are right now. You all know who you are, and I hope that I have a least partial with it. Thank you all. First of all, I want to thank, I have many, many bosses, including my wife. But the ones that pay me, the one that lets me live. But the ones that pay me, Mr. Don Hutchins and his wife, would y'all please stand and be recognized? She's a home year here. Ms. Linda's back to school. And I guess I told you all before, that's the story I told Mr. Hutchins. The only reason I ever got hired here, they finally ran out of other first-price candidates. And I was time I was it. But believe it or not, when we sat down 3 short years ago, in his office, he can vouch for it. We talked about winning and the direction that we wanted to take the program, coaches that we wanted to get here, and I mentioned to him, not knowing that 3 years later, that I told him that we were going to win a state championship. Like I said, that's 3, 5, or 10 years. But I truly felt that. And it's got a great group of kids. I thought Ezell Party was always kind of a smoldering giant, and that everything had at the right time. And I've been through several different schools. And y'all here, come here, and a lot of things came together. And like I said, parents, I have to thank you all, and I'll thank you all later. But it's been an incredible privilege to work with your son over the last few years. It's been a great thing. I've worked in several schools and had several incredibly bad experiences. It's a joy to come to work every day. Mr. Hutchinson, when he hired me, he didn't hire me to teach. I know that sounds weird. He hired me to be a football coach. And he allowed me to do that and created the fun, never saying no when I asked him way too many times, me and Ms. Cole and Mr. Edwards, and they always had an open ear, and they were always very supportive. And I want to take this time to certainly thank you all, Mr. Hutchinson and Ms. Cole, for everything you've done for us. I'm going to go ahead and jump to Mr. Dungan. He had an emergency. He got called away. Mr. Dungan, his son David plays for us. Decided he wanted to, they bought us some computer equipment. I was so smart that I couldn't figure out how to work it. Give me an accountant, figured out a way, and stayed on the sideline and did stats for us, week in, week out. And that was a thankless job, a wet job. I think Mr. Duncan really enjoyed it because if we weren't screaming at the officials, we were a lot. He was. I got him on face. I see him run down and he forget to do stats. He's screaming at the officials. And I'm sorry that he was not able to be here tonight. Like I said, I wanted to say some things, and I told him I would talk to him later. Now, I know there is a person here that I do want to thank, and she's truly a privilege to be around, and she gives me a hard time. She's kind of like a second mom, and my mom's not around. And that's Nita Keith. Nita, come up here. Every once in a while, she allows me to get in trouble with Mr. Hutchinson, and I've been called in and told what not to do anymore. But when Mr. Hutchinson kind of says, I don't know, I go to Anita, and she goes and installs sales, and it really helps a lot. And so much of the equipment that we've been able to get, I know, she's done it. We're both done half of it. But I want to tell her, she does so many things behind the scenes for us. Taking care of us as coaching staff. She always wants to know what she can do, just like a lot of other people. And she's never turned me down a lot of times when she should have to help us. She is this moment. I want to thank her and thank her personally. And I also want to turn the mic over to her for just a minute.
I have two things. One, when you bring that to me, I forgot it. When he called me Mom, I lost track. We had a very special addition to the sidelines this year, as y'all all know. We had our own live eagle back in August. Lady Morgan. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't make money at everything I've asked. So, back in the fall when we had our craft fair, we chose not to auction our signed football for two reasons. One, we didn't feel like an appropriate amount of people would be there that would be interested. And two, we wanted to win state first. So we have decided, and Mr. Hutchinson has approved this, the football has been signed by all the teams. It will be owned in the administration office through this week by silent bid. If you want to place a bid on owning this football, you can come to the administration office and give your bid to Virginia Craven. Friday at noon will be the cutoff. At that time, we were happy to see who decides this football. All y'all seniors, this is a great, great gift. So, remember that. Have a question.
I tell this story every year. When I took the job at Ezell, the first thing that I wanted to see was exactly what type of team we were inheriting. And I played the film, and I've got to admit, it was rough in several spots. But there was one standout performance on every film.
That's a Steve booming voice. Talk about where my voice. I can't do it.
But the voice was incredible. I was like, the team is horrible. I'm like now too tall. I'm turning the volume up as loud as it goes. Play was bad, but it was like, where's this guy? You know, and I met him over the summer. Mr. Coffin, Mr. Miles Coffin, please stand up. Not been many state championships in the Smith family. Including this one, there's one. There'll be more. My mom and dad are here. Mom and dad, would y'all please stand up? I think that's the only pass I ever caught in high school. What?
We're in the Ezell Harding Christian School. After being at Ezell for 3 years, brings him to 2001 season.
And I guess this is the time. I talked to Mr. Hutchinson this morning. And some of you, there's been some speculation. Probably hit me the most when I talked to Mr. Henderson the other day. He made me come and sit down to him when I stopped by. And he said something to me that really had to get me the other day. He said, I hope that you are going to stay. Because I can't remember the last time Ezell Harding had a coach that stayed 4 years. Average life about 2.6 years. job offer to go to college and be an offensive coordinator at a very, very small school. And waited, talked over with my wife, prayed about it, and to tell you that whether it's one way or the other, that I will be the Ezell Harding coach next year. Sorry to go along. Other people. Number one, hope you noticed that our grass was not the greatest because we were the ones that took care of it. We didn't have green grass. Sometimes we had to paint it that way. The one thing that we did always have was a field with straight lines and a beautiful eagle in the very middle. And I want the guys and the ladies to stand up and be recognized for all the work we did on Thursday night. Stand up. In life, it's a true thing. The greatest thing is that you all know that we coach several different teams. The middle school, junior varsity, and high school. And I say this because painting the field takes a great deal of time. And these parents, every night, we never even worry about it, never have worried about it. It's always been taken care of. Rain, any terrible conditions, it's always been painted. And I try to make a deal with them that if they would do that for us, that we would try to concentrate our attention and action on the football field. And I know that most of you know, and I say this is a testament to our coaches for sure, to our players, and also to the parents that allowed us to coach and not get drawn down into other things, that our middle school, our junior varsity, and our high school combined to go 32-0 this year. That's great. Likewise, our chain crew is there every Friday night. They couldn't do enough. Can our chain crew guys stand up, please, that are here, be recognized? The thing even better about that is, they got so tired of holding that old raggedy set of chains that would break, they went out and bought us a $500 set. Thank you guys very, very much. And lastly, from the standpoint of all the concession workers and everybody, all the parents that came to clean up and work, we had better things to do. And like I said, I know that concession stand and sometimes not getting to see your son play and being there for us as coaching staff. And what you all allowed us to do was to coach football. And I could never thank you enough because the state championship trophy that we have up there, there should be 200 of them made. And that's a phenomenal thing. And I want the parents, especially the players, to give the parents a hand for everything that you all have done for the last 3 years. Just a couple of things, a couple of thoughts before I get into more of the actual football participants that we're with day in, day out. We talked in middle school, and I talked to an old coach, and to better enjoy this season, because I have so many coaching friends that have coached 40 and 50 years, and they've never had a perfect season. And we always strive for excellence. And perfection for most is almost unattainable, even for a microsecond. But it doesn't keep us from striving that. And the young men, women, and coaches on our football team made it through a complete season. At this present moment, the Ezell Harding Eagles are on the longest winning streak in the state of Tennessee, dating back to the last 2 games from last they lose, which we hope never will, we'll maintain that. And I told them, and I told you all, that perfection, even attained for an instant, and you have to grab that instant and hold on to it. Because I told our guys, through your all's help, in giving me these young men, and coaching, that they may never be perfect again. But for one moment in time, they will know what it's like to be perfect. 15 and that was due to a lot of different factors. We had a super group of seniors that took the bet. What we talked about, I think it was even in the paper, how we met in the bowling alley after going 5-5, being close, bad coaching moves. When you lose, it's the coach's fault. And when you win, it's the players. And that's the way it normally works out. But they were an incredible group of young men in college. Our seniors would not let us lose. That happens because it comes from traits at home. Character, discipline, love, courage to obtain that perfection. And that's inbred in them from you parents that have been inspirations to them. Some have talked to me, encouraging them. There were very low moments during the season full of bright, shining moments. And like I said, you have to enjoy, gentlemen, this run. And we hope we never lose, but eventually at some point in time we will. And it was a special, special season. And I'm glad that all of you were able to enjoy it, to be on that ride, to be on the bandwagon. Since we've been here, this group of young men, and I would give the seniors their 4-year record, but I'm not counting because I'm just doing it since I've been here. They're 3-year seniors for me. They are an astonishing 29-8. And that's an incredible thing. And from where Ezell had been in the past, struggled, been close, to take that record of 29-8 and into the perfect season is absolutely phenomenal. And just want to give you guys one more hand and say thank you. Involved in our program. He's not here tonight because he's planning on winning a state championship ring in basketball. And I know the guys are planning on getting their second one this year that all played. And Chris Burnett decided not to come tonight. Like he's trying to prepare for this season and finish that out. And I hate that he's not here because he allowed us to focus on football on Fridays. He took care of everything. And number one, he allowed us to use his basketball players. And most of the basketball team plays football or vice versa. And we could not have done things on Friday, concentrated on our game without him. And he's a special friend to me, a special friend of all of us. And like I said, I'm sorry he's not here. I'll talk to him more tomorrow. Next, we had a lady and a gentleman that has an absolute thankless job. Our filmers. It's not fun. The first time we have a coach's wife that's the best filmer that I've ever seen. Marissa, would you please stand up? And Mark was invited. Mark, you and your wife ever come? I don't see Mark done also. We had 2 tanks every time, and it was an incredible job, and I just want to thank you, Ms. Denton, for everything you've done for us. I mess her name up all the time, that's why I call it Denton. Now, would our trainers and Deborah please come up? Recognized. They have a thankless job. I know they do it for all the money involved. First, I know y'all see a pair of twins, even though they try to dress differently. The STEM twins, please, ladies. And the new trainers that we had to break in this year, Mr. Chat. I'll give y'all a little bit later on, okay? Kind of a little bit surprise. Thank you all very much. Next, our ball boys. Are y'all all here? Please come up. We had to have athletic ball boys. I'm telling you, we did. And I quitted them. And the guys, no huddle, you have to run fast. And we had 3 breaks, and we kept them busy. This is Mr. Tyler Lovell. Everybody, hand up, I'm pleased. Brian Rummage was not able to be here tonight. I think for basketball commitment, and Mr. Brandon Pierce. And we also have something for you we're going to wait just a minute, okay? So give this guy a big hand. Coaches, can y'all come down and help me now? And talked about it. Ezell Hart has been very good to all of us. And like I said, I want to thank you again, Mr. Hutchinson, for doing this. We have several things that we have for these young men and ladies. A lot of time and effort has been put in on several of them. Tony Trumpauer is the most organized man that I've ever met. I call him anal. I say that in a good way. No way that's not good, buddy. Love you, Tony. Tracy, I love you too. Tony, of course, works at Smyrna. And one day, when we get him to retire, he's going to work for us. That's probably the last piece of the puzzle that we want. And we're going to get it. He wants to come. And the company, like I said, besides being incredibly organized, and the great thing about Coach Trumpauer is he was able to make us all relax. He's a great storyteller. I'm not going to let tell the story now. Okay, but if any of you want to ever hear the story of the storm, if you got 2 hours, then Coach Trumpauer down. We give him a tough time. Coach Trumpauer, on his own, unbeknownst to me, put together a booklet. Kind of mentioned it. I had carefully tried to keep a scrapbook cutting out of every article that came out before us, and he had some. Coach Trumpauer took the ones that he had cut out, not telling me this, took the ones that I had, and made a booklet. And it's, he bought these. Everyone has the player's name and number on it. I know there's one for Mr. Hutchinson, one for Ms. Cole, and one for all the coaches and the managers. And it has no doubt, because I know Tony Trumpauer doesn't mess up. Every article, every picture that took place in every paper that's printed out. And he has one for players, and players, when you get these, come to the middle school, give these to your mother, okay? I told him if I had all the paraphernalia that I was given through high school and college that my mom and dad the jerseys that went to the cheerleaders and the girlfriends and the rings. And there's girls all over this country that have my football jersey. And there's like 5 to 10 jerseys. I take my wife, I sleep once, but I wish I had those back. I really do. And I tell them not to give them to the girls because they steal them, and they never give them back to me. They that bad on them. But you'll have a future memory forever. And like I said, that's something my mom has stored for me. But to have this season, and soon you'll be overweight, out of shape. And even though you'll have that ring, your son will thought you caught it at a yard sale. So, you can prove that that ring was legitimately yours. And I want to thank Coach Trumpauer. We did all this. This is like the Price is Right. Spin the wheel. We wanted. It's just the humor that keeps on giving on. We wanted our players, our managers, our coaches to have a Letterman's jacket and to have this patch on their Letterman's jacket that, again, don't give it away. Whether they want to put it on their jacket or they want to put it up on their wall and frame it. Again, there were 305 football teams that played in the state of Tennessee this year. 2 of them finished undefeated. Okay? And I say this because it's testament. I'll talk more about our coaches later. Coach Jack played for Carlton Flat. Carlton Flat, a very good football coach, whether you like his politics or not. And he probably gave us one of the greatest compliments. I don't know if I told our guys, I probably didn't. But a few weeks after the Blue Cross Blue Shield Bowl, he told a coaching friend of mine who had turned, ran back and told me. And he said, on that given day, the end of November, or I guess the 1st of December, he said there was only maybe one other team that Ezell Harding couldn't beat. He thought that maybe Riverdale could have won the game. But he said, I've never seen a team play with so much enthusiasm. I've never seen them attack. And he thought that through every class, that he thought that Ezell Harding could have beat everybody there. And coming from him, Coach Jack played for him, I think that's a testament to these young men. Guys, the only thing I'll ask about this, several of you have ordered jackets. If you have ordered a jacket new, you will not have a patch because your patch is coming on your jacket. Okay? If you already have your jacket, take one of these. If it doesn't have a patch on it, if you ordered it new, please don't take one tonight because we will run out because yours are on your jacket being sewed on the inside and go back out. So, I want to keep that. And finally, my father-in-law is not mine. I just keep telling you that it is. Let's make a deal. Right, right. My father-in-law, who always said I'm his favorite son-in-law, I'm his only son-in-law. I asked Mr. Hutchinson, again, jerseys get thrown away, and we know what happens to them. Things get misplaced. But this is something, guys, again, you need to give your mom and your dad. Because there'll be a time, again, when you got that picture to prove that you were the best. On this, I tried to get as big as I could. I wanted a window, but I couldn't get them here. But it's a fairly good-sized flag. It says Ezell Harding Christian School, 2001, Steel Flag Class A State Champions, District 5A Champions, Region Champions, Class A State Champions, first undefeated record in school history, 15-0. We were very fortunate, and we have our national record and our state records on here. And just to tell you what a testament to these young men, there was a national record tied. J.P. Shelley, 6 or 7 different receivers and a line blocking for him. And I haven't made a big deal out of it. And I told you when we came here, we don't give out a lot of individual awards because football, of all the sports, is more reliant upon the other 10 or 11 guys. And J.P. was smart enough to know that he was no better than his line, and he was no better than his receiver. And I told him that night. And we caught a lot of heat over what happened. And I caught a lot of heat at home from my wife for what happened. I had to sleep on the couch for a month. Telling me that. Wishing I had a football jersey. But JP, because of his arm, because of his intelligence, because of his line, and because of his receivers, we had a team award that only 3 other quarterbacks in all of United States high school football history, 3 threw 10 touchdown passes in the game. And I told them the night that they did that, and I knew that we would catch. Did we go into it intentionally trying to break it? No. After halftime, and I think we had 6 or 7, and I truly, we looked up, we had that many, and I talked to JP, I talked to several other players, I talked to the coaches, and we struggled, had 7, we got 8, and I was biting my nails on the sidelines, I truly did, because I've been embarrassed as a coach, and probably during the scope of time, and several years down the road, what goes around comes around, and those of you who coach know that. I'll be embarrassed again. But I started to pull JP out on his 8th touchdown. And he came over, and I said, JP, and he could just see. I was torn up. Like I said, it was not an easy thing. And JP was cemented it for me. He goes, Coach, take me out. I'm done. I can tell. Didn't make a big deal of it, and not many people knew that. But he told me, take me out. I can tell this is not good for you. It's not good for us. I don't need this record. And at that point in time, due to the sincerity of that young man and the sincerity and hard work of the other team members, I decided that there was a gift I could give them. I'm an old history teacher. Wasn't a very good one, but I'm a student of history. And at that time, that we could tie our program, which gave us publicity good and bad, all over the United States. NFL.com, all the internet papers, and several different publications. And I felt really good at the end getting them that. And they have a national record they can say that they were a part of, those that called the pass, those that blocked, and it was a special night. We shattered 7 other records in the state of Tennessee, 2 others that are under review. One of the ones that I'm very proud of, that the Ultimate Team Award, was the old state record for most points scored in one season was 543 in 1926. The new record in the state of Tennessee in 2001 is 706 points. And I dare say that never talk about things that won't be broken, but that will probably last for several years. And we couldn't get all the records. There were 6 Clinic Bowl records. They were either broken or tied that I think will stand for a long time. We could not get these on here, but they are on the internet. And the last thing I'll say about this, I'm sorry I've talked way too long about this, is there are over 30 records, state and national, that our guys either own, tied, team records, individual records, that they either are first, second, or third. And I think that's an incredible testament of definitely the greatest team I've ever coached and definitely the greatest ever been. Thank you. And finally, again, I say your name, Mr. Hutchins. I say it way too much. Mr. Hutchins and the board allowed us to have something other than these things that will come in March. We will be getting more information to you. JP and I were at the Mr. Football Banquet. JP was Ezell's first Mr. Football finalist. And Gerald Riggs, who's going to play the University of Tennessee, got up to receive his award. JP and I were sitting there, and we were startled, because as he walked, there was this huge thing hanging. And I thought maybe he had a fork or some kind of instrument. And it was his state championship ring. And I told Mr. Hudson, if we won one, I want it as big, shiny, and as gaudy as his one. I mean, it's a death instrument. It's about and Mr. Hudson allowed us to buy that for our team. It's something they will have and they will always treasure. Again, it will prove it is absolutely beautiful. They were between $175 to $200. No expense was spared on them. And again, Mr. Hudson, they'll be coming in March. We'll be having a ring ceremony that I hope you can all come and see. And have your sons walk. I want to walk like this. Or to open the door and shake their hand. I told him just in a funny thing, there was two ways I was going to wear it. Out of season, I was going to wear it turned in, where I looked at it, I could read it. In season, I was going to turn it around, so when I shake the coach's hand, they can read it. As I call your name, and we're going to start with freshman first, I want you to come up. Please stand up, and we'll recognize you as a client. Then you'll go back and sit down, and we'll go with our second group. We'll start with our freshmen. First, Mr. Hunter Garner. Good. Mr. Preston Gibson. Mr. Chris Howard. Mr. Jason Pope. Mr. Chris Wacker. Mr. Nathaniel Mason. The freshmen have it worse. The freshman parents know that. I guarantee you this, Mom and Dad. I know they play their JV games, but there's one instrument I know that they know better than any other. If you ever meet them in suite, they are very, very good at it. They endured it, and I had to remind them. Like I said, our field house, you could literally eat off of it someday. And our singers, which I'll talk about, made sure that it was. But they were awesome. You take a lot of abuse at the freshmen. And the greatest thing besides getting the ring, I know because they come to you, is that they don't have to sweep up there. Thank you guys very much. Our sophomores, Mr. Randy Slacker. Mr. Rolf Field. Mr. Justin Earth. Mr. Stephen Bass. Mr. Trey Heath.
Wesley Purdy. And Mr. Kyle Hall. This group of young men, you see their numbers are fairly high. They, along with our freshmen and a couple of our juniors that we had to have out there playing, went 9-0. They're a great group of young men. They, along with the freshmen and sophomores, are going to have to really step up and help our junior class to be seniors next year. And look at them now, because we're going to get them in the weight room and get them a whole lot stronger. Thank you, guys. Our juniors, Mr. A.J. Blackman. In a school that does not allow environment for dancing, A.J. probably has the most rhythm. It's on game. Mr. Antoine Owens. Bill Martin. Chase Fletcher. Christian Howard Harris. Kennedy Thompson. This group, along with our seniors, Mr. Hutchinson told me we had some special kids coming up. This group of young men, this is their second undefeated season. As 8th graders, I believe they were 8-0 or 9-0. And they beat up on some pretty good teams. I know they beat up on NBA a couple times, or at least one good time. And they, after tonight officially, the mantle will be passed down to them. How our season will be next year. And you're never, ever better than your seniors. And gentlemen, you've got an awful lot to live up to. Thank you all. Chris Young. Matt Carriot.
Michael Bordeaux. J.P. Shelley. Mike Parker. I've changed his number about every other week. Mr. Eric Davis. There's a couple of other things before I talk about them. Special things, and they are definitely a special group that will never, ever be forgotten. I was privileged to have something I didn't know if I would ever have. The first Division I signee, the first player that I've ever coached to go to the SEC and play and go to those big stadiums and everything excited. And of course, I know that you all know that Mr. Davis is going to Maryland University. Go to a lot of different places, and there was a lot of thought put into it by his family. I tried to counsel Eric. Eric had to make his own mind up. But what a fine young man, as I'll talk about all of them. But through the hard work of athletics, he has a scholarship that he chooses to exercise all 5 years that will be worth upwards of $165,000 to $70,000. They do really well, and I thought that by getting Vanderbilt, I had a selfish way. I figured I would win one way or the other. That Eric, if he worked hard, would have one day a chance to possibly play in the pros. If he did, he would buy me a Range Rover. So look, okay, and number two, even if he didn't, and I thought this was the greatest upside of Vanderbilt, is that when I talked to Coach Woodenhoff before he left, Coach Johnson, that when Eric got his degree, and he's going to get his degree, is that the great thing about graduating from Vanderbilt is that 4 or 5 years down the road, if he's an engineer or whatever he decides to be, he'll be making 3 or 4K, and I'll still get the right job. I need to present 2 awards. We have 2 young men that were named to the Associated Press All-Tennessee team. And for the first time in their history, they didn't come out with classifications, single A, double A, triple A, 4 and 5A, which wound up having several hundred young men recognized. They had one team. One team in offense, one team in defense. The best receivers, the best quarterback, the best lineman. And I had some problems because I was upset that there were only 2. But on a list that exclusive in the entire state, if you do the math, of 305 schools playing, and then 25 to 30 each school, it is an incredible honor to be named. And I wanted to present to Eric and J.P. Shelley, Associated Press All-Tennessee 2001, first team All-Tennessee. I can tell stories about every one, and I'm not going to. I'm going to hit a couple of high notes. 4 years ago when I took over, I didn't know the quality of young men that I had inherited. I had no idea. I think y'all were coming off of 2 and 8. See? Bad times. As you can tell, they are not the largest group of young men. And although we have some fast ones and some quick ones, we are not the fastest and the quickest. But somehow, and at some point, and I'll point out, if you look at Matt Huff, Matt is not one of our biggest football players. Okay? And I'll pick on Michael and John Mark just a little bit. And I like that. But I've got to qualify that too. A lot of our guys that can play football for a lot of different schools don't get the chance because colleges measure the degree of how good you are by size, by height, by weight, by 40 pounds. And if you had put that on us this year, we wouldn't have been 15-0. But there were certain moments that I knew that we had something special. And like I said, it started in a bowling alley. Me bowling 5 straight gutter balls and being laughed at and humiliated. We went back in a room and we talked. And I didn't talk to them as boys. I talked to them as men because that's what they are. And I laid it on the line because I thought we had something special. And I talked to our coaches and I talked to my wife and I literally thought, and I was able to put my fears aside, of being the #1 team in the state of Tennessee. I never had mentioned it before because I didn't think we were ready. But on that night, after bowling, eating pizza in a little old room in a little old dinky kitty chair, it was really Sunday boy. We talked about what we coaches had made suggestions about where we wanted to go and where we wanted to take them. And to a man, they were able to voice their opinion. It finally come down to the time where we said, I think we can win a state championship. I think we can win every football game that we play next year. We're in November or December. And a lot of times people go, hey, that's great, that's exactly what we want. That's good. Meaningless chatter. But I said, you think about it, don't answer. And we sat there for a couple of minutes. Some bowed their heads, and they were thinking. And you could just tell that their minds were churning. And then I went to every one of them, and they had to tell me the truth. And to a man, and it only took one, to blow the whole thing up. Each one of them said that whatever we asked of them, whatever we made them do, they would do it. And that they would make sure the younger guys did it. You parents know I had your kids all summer long. That's part of it. That's why they're champions today. But to tell you the abuse that they went through, at the greatest, in 20 minutes, they ran 40-yard dashes in 20 minutes. At the next practice, they ran 20 100-yard dashes in 20 minutes. They didn't complain. They didn't gripe. We made sure they had water, but we pushed them. And you know that we love them. We couldn't stand if something happened to one of them. And they accepted. And they led our team practice in the games. Each one of them is the captain. And they all serve as captains. No one more so than the other. Eric wouldn't go and serve in the middle of the field because he wanted his actions to speak on the field. There's others that spoke and talked and led our team from a verbal and a physical way. And I knew that we had something special several times. That I underestimated these guys. And when I knew that we had a chance to be pretty good, was our third game. And CPA had owned us. They were the state champions. And there was a play that I saw where CPA ran a sweep early in the game. And a little old tiny outside linebacker, little, only in stature, took on two young men that were both over 6 foot tall and both weighed well over 220 pounds. And he knocked them down like bowling pins. Like bowling pins. I told him after the season was this, that to take this perfect season and to go and be good men. And each one of them has been through trials, some that you'll know about and some that only I know about, of things that I probably a lot more time in with them than I do my own too. It's amazing that I can work with 40 to see wear me out. I get to spank them though. And to tell you of the love, and like I said, I'm not going to apologize for going along, is that every game, and we were fortunate to never lose, but every game, the most important thing that I want to stress to them was be careful. Celebrate, enjoy, have a good time, but be careful. Because I can't go bury one of you all. And I can't see you in the hospital. And you got to be safe. Because we were truly family. And that's tough. And, the winning was secondary. Thank you guys very much. In a minute, I'm going to introduce the men that work for me, and that are head coaches, each and all. But first, I want the ones that are truly the power behind the throne, each and every one of us. Would our wives and fiancés please stand up and be recognized? They bear the brunt. Parents, I don't tell you here they done. Ladies, I would apologize if you're hearing enough to keep your husbands at all hours, and I ain't calling them at all hours this night. But I love you all. Y'all know that. And I absolutely love you. It's very heterosexual. There's a lot of group hugs. Want to introduce, you know, Coach Tony Trumpauer. Tony worked at Smyrna. He was not with us every day. He helped us a lot in our middle school program. He was there with us on every Friday, when we went to every ball game. And Tony made sure that we were loose before every ball game. And the one thing that you can say about our coaching staff is that we were never uptight. We were pretty loose, friendly group. And Coach Trumpauer, thank you very much. A couple of years ago, I came to Ezell, and we had some coaching problems, and there were some guys that I wanted to come and help me to pieces. And I want you to understand, the thing that's the same about what's different between this year and the last couple of years. Well, let me tell you what the same is. That's me. Okay? I coach backs, quarterbacks. But the guys that made the difference, and the reason we're 15-0 from the standpoint that we are, because Mr. Hutchinson let me put the guys in place that I wanted. Guys that wanted to be head football coaches. Guys that wanted to work with me. Guys that wanted to work with young men. And guys that absolutely, and the one most common trait that I share with all these men, if we cannot stand to lose. We can't stand it. And each one of these men carry their will over to our guys. And first part of the puzzle, Coach Todd Stinson, who coaches our offensive line and defensive line. Coach Stinson took it personally a year ago, and he was just helping Coach Hill, who's no longer with us. Coach Street from FRA cornered him one day, and put his hand around his shoulder and said, you know, if we had the best backs in all of single-A football, boy, that line left something to be desired. Coach Hill left. Coach Stinson got to take over, and he swore to me in a nice way that whatever weakness we had, the offensive line would not be there. And without a doubt, you read what the guy in Cloud said, what people all throughout, every coach told me, that the difference was our line. So I have a couple of things because I'm so proud of it because they did. We threw the ball 322 times this year. Not as many as everybody expected. In 15 games, 322 times, they gave up 11 sacks. That is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, there's the difference. Second, or third, Coach Eric Phelps. Eric, coaching him at Antioch, where I took his career and broke around him. Okay? He followed me to Greenbrier. He comes from an awesome family. He followed me to Greenbrier where he drove about an hour and 15 minutes one way. And his grand paycheck for about 3 months might have paid for his dad, about $600. Every day, he stayed every night, coming for free. I was fortunate to get him back. He's worked with us, and it's made all the difference in the world. And our wide receivers, our defensive backs, I think over the last 2 years, they've averaged 24 interceptions a year, and very few people would throw on us because of that. We had 8 to 10 young men that were absolutely developed, some of the best receivers I've ever seen on high school level, and not getting enough credit. And I'm going to ask you also, Eric, for everything. Last but not least, Coach Jack. Coach Jack's the calm one. He has a laugh that pierces walls from miles away. He has a way of communicating to our defensive line that makes them play very hard. I really ask him, and I never go down there because I don't want to know what they say. But they motivate. Coach Jack coached with us for free. I met him through such a strange coincidence, just another way of how did I get at Ezell? How did he get at Ezell? How did Todd, Eric, and Tony? There's too many coincidences to know that the Lord was not involved in some way. But Coach Jack coached for free when we went 9-3. He left for a money issue. Went to Macon County. We were 5-5. We were able to hire him away from Macon County. He drives almost an hour every day. And like I said, I tell Amy, I thank her every day. He coaches our defensive line. Coach Stinson focuses on the offensive line, and Coach Jack helps him. Vice versa, Coach Jack coaches the defensive line, and Coach Stinson helps him. They are, the only thing I can say is Eric is not always there every day to coach school. Coach Trump's not there. And they double team on me, and I get voted, outvoted all the time because they're so very, very close to sticking to me, by the way. But they have made a difference. And I want to thank you, Jack, also. There were
received, and I would love to take credit for this, but my wife, who is much smarter than I am, raised a brilliant idea to me. The proudest moment of my life in football was when I got to go out for us and receive the Coach's Award, which hangs in my office, and I look at it every day. There was only one problem. There were 5 head coaches, not one. So my wife, through her day, who was able to pull some strings, was able to create, just so happens, 4 more awards. And I want each one of those. Guys, I know that most time we make you hang it up in our elaborate office that we have. This is for your house, okay? Thank you all very much.
We're going to let him hang at his office. And I guess everybody wins the state championship ought to have one of these. This little banner.
And I'm excited. But I look at my wife and she's going, it doesn't matter. Any of this furniture.
On the wall in our den, a lot of pictures, airplanes. My husband was in the Air Force and flew on various planes. And on one of those, or I think it would be probably around that picture, all the guys who served with him on that particular plane and that particular squadron would sign that, and now we can point to that, or he'll point to that thing, oh, you remember old so-and-so, you know, he did this. This is the guy that's on the guy in the Air Force that fell out of an airplane, you know, things like that. So it kind of gave me an idea of something that the guy could do for Coach Smith that would give him a memory that would last for a lot of years. And so I want to present this to him, and the guys all came in into a chair of sign.
Let's get a bigger house.
This is the picture of the one at the end that they finally get through with.
Absolutely always be remembered. Thank you all. Thank you guys. That's something that, like I said, I'm a history buff, and this will forever be history. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And I've been excited about this all night. Guys, a couple of you all, will you pass these papers? You'll have this week, okay? Hey, so glad you're calling friends. I do all of you all. You all know Mr. Guthrie as the Ace Hardware man and Eagle Painter, among other things. I found out almost by mistake that Mr. Guthrie was a painter, and that he, like a lot of us, have several different passions, and that although he makes his living from Ace Hardware, that painting is his passion, is his obsession. And unbeknownst to me, just a few days ago, he's been working on something. And tonight, we're going to unveil it. I have not seen, as far as I know, maybe no other human being besides him has seen this. And what he is passing around, there's going to be a limited series of prints. Say 2 runs, 2 small runs, right? 1 run of limited print. And he has donated this print. He said the original is going to Cole, which I think he deserves. And he's going to make a small number of prints. And he has agreed through Mr. Hudson and Mr. Conley that every print that's sold, and it's at an awesome price of $100. When you see it, I believe you'll understand. And we're going to give this to you because we need a server he would want it. Every bit of the money that's will be raised from the selling of these prints goes back to Ezell Harding. And like I said, for Mr. Guthrie, I haven't seen it. I know it's going to be awesome. I wanted to cheat like Christmas, kids at Christmas. And Mr. Guthrie, I want you to stand up and be recognized. Mr. Guthrie wanted to put together a print that contained something, I believe, from all 15 games. Is that correct? You see the eagle in the middle of the field, and if you'll look closely, like I said, you'll see something that represents all 15 of our football games, one way or the other. And it is a tremendous, and if you'll notice, I see Tony has better eyes than I do. The one that I'm probably the proudest of, the one that has the MTSU scoreboard on it, 63 to 26. You see our checkered end zone, of course the eagle, even the blues, and the 2 ugliest little red tables, but the world that we couldn't live without, but they're there. And even the pyramid from the bank. That is incredible. And like I said, thank you for that, Mr. Guthrie. That's incredible. Thank you for doing that. And I hope we sell a whole lot of them. I know that we'll get one. Like I said, my office is kind of cramped. But that's a once-in-a-lifetime portrait. And for somebody to pour his soul into that, it's incredible. Listen, I want to thank all of you all.
I think it was. I got to speak into it.
First, give out is to our 12th man, and everybody on the team can tell you that at least one time this year, that this guy has given him some positive comment and given him a pat on the back or a hug, tell him they love him. And we wanted to thank Jeremy for coming out every day.
The next gift we have is for Miss Cole, Miss Pruitt, and Miss Reynolds. Miss Cole, the only one here to accept this. But we've got all 3 of them a picture of after the state championship game so they can keep in their office. And that's for the football team. So. go with flags or anything for the managers or the coaches. We thought that everybody had flags and trophies, so we're going to try something different. So we got, for our managers and for Coach Trump, because we couldn't give him a jacket because he goes to Florida. He'd probably get beat up. We got pillows, and we got pillows made. On the front, it's got a picture, our state championship picture, and on the back, it's got everyone's autograph on it. Something to keep around. Leslie, Sharon Cheryl, Big D, and Coach Trump. So, you guys come up. But last, we want to thank the coaches for everything they've done this year. We thought a good way to do that was by getting them letter jackets. Let the guys have them, and now the coaches can go around and look pretty with us. Give it a why. But we got all three assistant coaches wool and leather sleeves, and we found out that Coach Smith is allergic to wool. That kind of messed that plan up. We improvised and we got Coach Smith in all leather. We also got taxes for everybody, for all the coaches. But one thing I want to say about Coach Smith, we were talking about it earlier, before we got to come up here. No, why don't you come up here? Come on. Now, we were thinking about what we could say about Coach Smith, and Renaud gave me this idea, that's why I thought about it. Last year, we didn't have a very good season. Something Coach told us one day, it kind of stuck in our minds. He said, guys, this is after practice, we're going to stay in the He said, guys, what I want to do in my coaching career is I want people to think of me as, by the time I get done coaching, as one of the best coaches in the nation by my record. And I don't know if the whole nation thinks that, but I'm sure there's, let's say, 215 people in this room who can pretty much tell you that you are the best coach in the nation. I have one more thing I got told to say while I was up here. Coach Smith is like the master of pregame speeches. And, we had one we just had to show you, or had to tell you about. Before we played CPA, everyone was real tense. You know, we haven't been CPA in a long time. We thought we had it this year, and we were just ready to get out and play. And, you know, we're listening to our music, and we're getting our game mode. And in comes Coach Smith, just a serious look on his face. And we all get quiet, respecting the big talk, the big, we want the gift or something like that. Well, what Coach Smith does is he's got shorts on and a pair of sunglasses. And he said, guys, I think I'm going to be an Oakland one. And he put on his glasses and he pulled his short leg out. Kind of like this, and it was, I don't know what he was doing, but that's, something we'll never forget. I don't know if that helped us win, but made me feel good. So, okay.
And my shorts available for business, parties, barbecue. If you could. Whatever you want. You get to choose the number. Cardinals don't like it's all preserved. I want to thank you all. I tell my wife the hardest part about it is, when things go well, it seems like people tend to care. Last year was not our best year, and the greatest thing, there was no difference among you all. It's just like there was no difference among this year and 16 and 0. And like I said again, for the final time, I thank you for letting me be a part of your son's lives and being a part of your lives. And hopefully we'll keep winning for a long time. Thank you all.